This lecture is on dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is a step-by-step approach in which one illustrates through a set of unit conversions going from one unit to another. It is important you have each equality needed with units and be able to illustrate that all units are canceled except the final units. The setup is as follows. Given unit times desired unit divided by given unit as a conversion factor equals desired unit. Let's look at some common equalities in the general four-step process. Here are some common equalities, and they are in units of mass, length, volume, and time. The process is as follows. 1. Given. After reading the problem, determine what information has been given by writing down the units provided. Think of it as the starting point of eventually solving the problem. 2. Find. From the problem, determine the final units needed in the problem. It is here you may need additional equalities needed to go from unit to unit. You should also consider writing down a solution map because it's a path necessary to complete a problem from start to finish. 3. Solve. Using the solution map, set up the units correctly and then place the values in the appropriate location. Check that the units are all canceled out and carry out the mathematical operations and round the answer to the correct number of significant figures. 4. Check. Check your answer by solving the problem backwards. In many cases, it's easy to misplace one unit for another. Make sure that all of the units are placed correctly in your setup. Single unit. Example 1 is, how many miles will a person run a 10 km race? It is given that the distance equals 10 kilometers. To find the distance in terms of miles, it requires knowing the relationship between miles and kilometers, and it turns out that 0.6214 miles equals 1 kilometer. To solve this problem, begins by taking 10 kilometers and multiplying it by 0.6214 miles over 1 kilometer, which equals 6.21 miles. Checking this answer can be done by looking at the fact that 10 km is about 6 miles, so the answer is reasonable. Units raised to power conversion factors. Example 2 is, express the area of a square equaling 45 square centimeters in units of square inches. It is given that the area equals 45 square centimeters. To find the area in units of square inches, one needs to look at the relationship between centimeters and inches. It turns out that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. To solve this problem, take 45 square centimeters and multiply by the square of the conversion factor of 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters, which equals 7.0 square inches. Checking this answer can be done by looking at the fact that 1 square inch equals about 6.5 square centimeters, so it estimates to about 7 square inches. Multiple unit conversions. Problem 3 is 2.00 times 10 to the 5 seconds is equivalent to how many years? It is given that the time elapsed is 2.00 times 10 to the 5 seconds. To find the time elapsed in terms of years, one needs to look at the relationship between seconds, minutes, hours, days, and years. Solving this problem begins by taking 2.00 times 10 to the 5 seconds, and after converting it to units of minutes, hours, days, and years as shown, it equals 6.34 times 10 to the minus 3 years. In checking the answer, it is reasonable because 1 day has 86,400 seconds, so it is at least 2 days of time elapsed. Example 4 is, a quarter of a liquid has a mass of 2.70 kilograms. How many quarts will it take to weigh 100 pounds? Note 1 quart equals 2.70 kg. It is given that 1 quart equals 2.70 kg. To find the volume in quarts equaling 100 pounds, it can be accomplished by finding the relationship between pounds and kilograms. It turns out that 2.20 pounds equals 1 kilogram. Solving this problem begins by taking 100 pounds and after dividing it by 2.20 pounds to get kg, and then dividing by 2.70 kg leads to a final volume of 16.8 quarts. Checking this answer can be done by rounding the numbers to the nearest whole number integer, and so 100 pounds is about 17 quarts. Here are some review problems for you to do. Solve each of these problems, show a complete setup, and solve to the correct number, center, figures, and units in your final answer. A, express 150 pounds in units of kg. B, the volume of the cylinder is 55 gallons. What is its volume in cubic centimeters? C, Chicago uses 1.2 times 10 to the 9 gallons of water per day. How many gallons per second must be pumped from the lake every second to supply the city? D, convert 55 miles per gallon in units of kilometers per liter. For the remaining part of this lecture are solutions to review exercises or problems. Please view only after completing these exercises.